All right, so AverMedia just posted on their website regarding the flagship a GC575. This is a brand new, HDMI 2.1 PCIe capture card. So yeah, so here I'm on this official AverMedia website. Yep, this is a live gainer 4K 2.1 GC575, and yep, this is what the capture card actually looks like. All right, so it's going to scroll it down, immerse yourself with high-speed transfer with HDMI 2.1, crafted for modern gamers, designed for enhanced resolutions, rapid refresh rates, and our world's premier consumer-grade HDMI 2.1 PCIe capture card. Well, it's, not actually the world's first capture card, because I believe this Chinese company named, was it Yuan? Yeah, they actually made a HDMI 2.1 a PCIe capture card, but that card is so expensive. You have to pay more than $1,000, just to buy new, HDMI 2.1 capture card. The only downside is that it requires, like, I believe it's PCI Express, Gen 3 by 8 lanes. So yeah, this is, if you install on the X16 slot, yeah, then your graphics card is going to run a little slower. So not highly recommended. Plus, it's not worth the values. Other than that, I'm just going to focus on the AverMedia products. So yeah, this is pretty much a standard. The card, the shrouds, there's gonna have plates. You can play around with the RGB lines. Yep, this is the PCIe connections. Yep, that's where you put on your motherboards. All right, so right down there we got high refresh rates and ultra wide resolution support. Level up your gameplay with support for refresh rates up to 240 hertz. That's in 1440p. It's optional. And staggering 360 hertz, 1080p resolution. Yeah, that's completely optional, but not a lot of people do that. Yep, supports both HDR and variable refresh rate pass-through. And yeah, this is what it looks like, when you enable, variable refresh rate. So you get just, silky smooth gameplay experience, less ghosting, you get no tearings. This is actually good, when you do on, PC or console. Oops, sorry. Just adjusting a pop filter. My apologies. So down here, yes, it gives you extremely low latency. Well, because you're actually installing a PCIe slot, so that's going to give you faster communication between your CPU and the motherboard. Yep. Therefore, you get extremely low latency when you record it. When you stream it, whatever. It's never gonna lag ever. You're never gonna lag. Whereas the external capture card, yes, I believe they did release a GC 532 something. I forgot what's the name of it, but I know they did release the new external capture card. But it has downside because you're actually using a USB-C cable to transfer all the data, so it does have some bandwidth limitation, and therefore it causes some extra latency, like maybe 5-10 milliseconds of delay. But that's just the way external capture card works. Yep, that's just what it looks like when you put on your PC. Yep, this is why I'm gonna get a new HDMI 2.1 capture card, but not from AverMedia, and I'll explain to you later in this video why I'm not gonna buy it. Yep, so as you can see, yep, you can play around with the third-party, RGB line software such as, MSI, ASRock, a Gigabyte, which I do use a Gigabyte motherboards. Yep, RGB Fusion 2.0. Pretty much straightforward, and tells you how to, connect with your capture card and how to set it up. Basically you can use either console or PC. Yep, plug in HDMI in. Yep, it requires a bandwidth, so PCIe Gen 3 by 4. And for HDMI 2.1 out, yep, you just hook up to your monitor or TV. All right, so yep, always use the cables provided with your devices. Yep, that's true. And then make sure both your display console, whether it's a PS5, PS4 Pro, Xbox Series X, S, Xbox One, or Xbox Series X. Yep. That support HDMI 2.1 connections. Yep. If your monitor supports built-in DSC or display streaming compression, be aware that the maximum support video pass-through might be 4K 120 frames per second. That's weird. I thought it was, 4K 144 hertz. If you're doing on PC, but it's weird. Anyway, so let's move on to specifications. So we got, uses PCI Express Gen 3x4. That is a new bandwidth requirement because the GC575 uses a PCI Express Gen 2x4. So yeah, make sure you have the latest motherboard. Because I currently have the Z390. My maximum bandwidth was a PCI Express Gen 3. So video output pass-through is HDMI 2.1. Max pass-through resolution is 4K 144 hertz, HDR variable refresh rates. You can also do 21:9, that's 3440 by 1440p, under 20 frames per second. HDR variable refresh rate pass-throughs, that's great. Or you can do 1440p 240 hertz or 1080p 360 hertz, which most people don't do that. Only very few people, but I will not do that, because you can also just use NVIDIA, GeForce Experience. You can actually record any resolutions and frame rate. Well, not 120 FPS, but 60. It's pretty much standard. When you live stream on YouTube or Twitch. So the max capture resolution is 4K 60 frames per second, but I'm so confused because it doesn't really tell you what's the color format. I already know that this capture card does not support a 4K 60 HDR, and I'll prove to you why it does not support. Because I saw this picture right there. See, it was on their official Twitter page. See, let me go to the next page. Yeah, that one right there. See, if you compare the difference with its predecessor, the GC573 and GC575, well, the difference is that the GC575, does support 4K, 144 hertz or 120 hertz pass through. So that's no problem. It doesn't matter if you turn on HDR or not. It's going to work no problem. But when it comes down to the capture resolution, yeah, it's going to suck. Say you're limited to 4K 60 frames per second. SDR mode, no HDR this time. And you had to actually pay $270 just to use this card. So I don't know why this is only limited to SDR instead of HDR. I mean, it could have support HDR, but it doesn't make sense. This uses HDMI 2.1, bandwidth, which has enough bandwidth to, output all the, the colors, regardless of the resolution. It should handle 4K 60 frames per second HDR mode. I don't know why. Maybe because they just have a hard time, figuring out how to, optimize the algorithm. I don't know. Nobody knows. Only the developers at AverMedia knows, but they don't tell us why. But still, it just sucks. See, you're just limited to MB12, this color format, Yeah. I mean, whereas the GC573, yeah, it can support both SDR and HDR. And it's, the price is like, under $200, on the market. You can buy on Amazon, Nua, for under $200. It just doesn't make any sense, Say you can see this is the color space that you need to enable HDR, which is P010. Yeah, that's the only way to enable HDR. It can also support, XRGB, 24, etc. But see, the main point is that you basically buying like a downgraded version, as compared to its predecessor. See, this, it's just really disappointing, And this is why I'm not gonna buy this card. I know that we all know that this card is gonna come out tomorrow. January 16, 2024, at midnight, worldwide. So, everyone else can buy it. But for me, I'm not going to buy it. this is not worth it to, you know, to replace my, was it the Elgato, a 4K 60 Pro Mark II, because my Elgato capture card can do true 4K 60 frames per second in HDR mode. So yeah. So anyway, so here for the dimensions, it's 4.76 inches by 6.32 inches by 0.85 inches. You know, it's really small. You know, it's almost the same size like, you know, the Elgato capture cards, although it's slightly a little shorter than the GC573. So anyway, here are the requirements. You know, you need Windows 10 or 11 64-bit or later. You need Intel Core i5, you know, 6000 series or better. You know, I have an Intel Core i9 9900K. It should run no problem. And then as far as the graphics card, yeah, you need at least a GTX 1060 or AMD Radeon RX 5700 or above. You know, I have an RTX 4090, so it should run no problem. Yep, make sure you have both display and the console, you know, PS5, Xbox Series X, S, etc. that supports HDMI 2.1 connections. If your monitor supports built-in DSC or display streaming compression, be aware that the maximum support VIO pass-through might be 4K 120 frames per second. I mean, that's fine. If I'm doing a console, that's totally fine. I don't care, because I'm mainly using the capture card for console. That's what I'm buying it for. Anyway, yes, you do get it like softwares to download, like AverMedia GC575 gaming utilities, ARIA Central, and firmware update tools. Yep, make sure you update the latest and greatest firmware from their official websites. And what's included in the box? Well, you get the card, HDMI 2.1 cables, a quick start guides, and that's pretty much it. You know, yep, there's a video out there on YouTube. Yeah. Yeah, these are like the fact or frequently asked questions, you know, but it does not explain what's the maximum, you know, the capture resolution, which you have to actually go to Twitter to find out what's the maximum capture resolution. So right now, the 4K 60 frames per second, yeah, you're limited to SDR, no more HDR this time, unless they release a firmware update. But we don't know when, because they could have released a firmware update to add HDR mode. So for now, you're just limited to, you know, MB12 or SDR mode. So so if you want to do HDR, yeah, you have to go down to 4K 30 frames per second, which this is not what I paid for. This is not recommended, because most people want 4K 60. Most of it, yeah, because this is why you pay extra money for it. So not recommended run 4K 30 FPS just to run HDR mode. That's not what you paid for. It should be 4K 60 HDR capture. So, but it is what it is. All right, so down here, this is where you download the software. We have ARIA Central for Windows. I don't know about Mac, but I think they will eventually, you know, release some software that supports Mac. Yep, here's a firmware update for Windows. Yep, supports pass-through signal at 2560 by 4040, 240 hertz, and 1080p 360 hertz. Supports RGB 24, 4K 30 frames per second. Sorry, caught something in my throat. It says please switch to HDMI 2.0 option, gaming utility. Nope, I don't really care. And that's pretty much it. You know, you get down the user's manual. If you lost it, the physical manual book thing, yeah, you can always read down again from the website. Yeah. But other than that, you know, this is gonna come out tomorrow. See, this is a real tweet from AverMedia on Twitter. See, HDMI 2.1 capture card PCIe edition GC575 is dropping tomorrow worldwide. See, January 16th. See, I got 3 hours left, but I'm not gonna buy it right now. And you're paying it for $270 US. But in my opinion, it shouldn't be $270 US. It should have cost at least, you know, around $200, because since it does not support, you know, 4K, you know, 60 HDR capture I'm just really disappointed, you know. And they don't explain to you why, because, you know, the GC573 does support HDR Capture. See, 4K 60 FPS. No problem. You know, you can buy under $200 on Amazon. But this right there, no. No HDR included. Unless they release a firmware update, but no, we don't know. Nobody knows when. But yeah, so on the bright side, I did talk one of the marketing managers on, you know, YouTube. Yeah, this is the official channel. Elgato Workshops. Yeah, you know, they're like teasing with the new, you know, HDMI 2.1 capture card at what I believe is TwitchCon. Yeah, and they was like showing the 4KX and the 4K Pro. So yeah. And then when I asked him, and then like, when's the capture card coming out? And then he says, you know, very soon. See, that was from last week. So what this means is that, you know, the Elgato is like getting ready to, you know, release the flagship, you know, HDMI 2.1 capture card. See, so it can be either this week or maybe next week or so. You know, I was hoping it's gonna come out this month, so that I can finally buy on the internet. Then I'm gonna finally, you know, upgrade and replace my old, you know, the Elgato, the 4K 60 Pro Mark II capture card. You know, I need a capture card that can do 4K, you know, 140 Hz or 120 Hz, you know, pass through, but also I want to do true 4K 60 FPS HDR capture. You know, whether I'm recording or live streaming, that's what I want. Other than that, yeah, I'll be really happy with that. So in the meantime, you know, I'm just gonna wait for Elgato. You know, that's the card I'm waiting for. I was hoping it's gonna come out this week or maybe next week. I don't know when, but hopefully very soon. But other than that, you know, that's all I have to say. You know, for those of you, you know, looking forward to buy this new HDMI 2.1 capture card for your a PS5 or, you know, Xbox Series X, yeah, go for it. You know, I'm not stopping you, you know, because it's for me, I'm not gonna buy it. You know, I'm gonna patiently wait from Elgato, then I'm gonna buy it immediately. You know, it's gonna be around like maybe $270 or so. I'll pay for it, you know. Yeah, so got about 3 hours, almost 3 hours left, you know, then the car's gonna go live, you know. You can buy on, you know, Amazon, Newegg, I believe Memory Express, or other e-tailers. I think there's another one, was it B&H Photo Video? Yep, you can also buy from that website too. It's around $270. Yeah, so that's it, guys. You know, I'm gonna end this video, so take care, you know, take it easy and stay safe. I'm out of here.